Okay, so the video today is going to be to take the Etha 2 from the uncapped semi mode into capped semi, and then we're going to make that capped semi 5.5 so it can play in mechanical games or just a field that limits electronic guns to 5.5 or whatever the case may be. So again, we're going to go from semi-uncapped into capped 5.5. That's what this video is going to focus on. It is applicable to all the presets and to any of the changes you want to make in the programming mode. But I thought the manual, which is page 16 and 17, try to explain this, is done pretty poorly. The charts are just laid out kind of poorly and needlessly confusing. So, I'm going to, again, just do it on the gun to show you how to do that. I'll put a timestamp in the description to show you what time you need to fast forward to actually see it on the gun. I am going to talk about the manual because I believe super quickly if you think of it the way that I've come to think of the manual, it is actually helpful when it's not set up like this. So, the manual, super quickly, pages 16 and 17. View the red preset is a higher category or a higher level than green, blue, purple, and light blue, because it is. So really, these should be moved over one. And so red, so once you get into programming mode, which is the first step, then you go into preset, which you want to select, and then under that, these four are subcategories of the preset that you select. So really, these green, blue, purple, and light blue should be under here. One should have a green, a blue, a purple, and a light blue. Two should have a green, a blue, a purple, and a light blue indented under here because it's a subcategory of one. And it should be, this chart should be kind of a mix between those two rather than be separated like this, which I think is needlessly confusing. Hopefully this will make more sense once I actually explain it on the gun, which I'm going to do now. So, in order to get into programming mode, you're going to have to start the gun a different way. However, I want to note that if you can't do what I'm about to do on this gun, the Etha 2 has a tournament lock, which is right behind this eye cover. And in here, you'll press a little button to take it out of tournament lock if for some reason yours is locked. Mine wasn't. It came from the factory unlocked, so I could go right into programming mode. But if you need to, it's right in there. Other videos actually have a good way to do that. I'm not going to show that in this video because my screw, I have a bunch of triggers issues with this Etha 2. It's getting sent back to the factory. Planet Eclipse has been phenomenally helpful, but this eye cover screw is a little bit wonky. So again, tournament lock, if you can't do what I'm about to do, is in here. This is likely your problem. Other videos show it. You just need to press a little button right about here in the corner of the eye cover, behind the eye cover. So now we're actually getting into the meat of things. So we want to get into the original, like the start of programming for this. You're going to hold the trigger and then turn on the gun, and it's going to do 4 white flashes. And now, once you get into programming mode, the first thing it's bringing you into is preset mode. Ignore all these other things down here. All we want to do is check A, what preset mode it is in, and then B, change the preset mode to the one that we want. And then once we get the preset we want, then we can start working on these subcategories down here. So first thing we're going to do is check what preset mode am I in. And all you do, as you saw, a quick press. 1. Quick press. 1. So what does that mean? That means we are in semi-uncapped. That's what it came to me from the factory with. Again, just once we turn it on, it's going to go right to this for programming, and that's our preset. Don't worry about anything else. 1 button press, we are in semi-uncapped. So I'm going to show you how to get it into semi-capped, which is preset 2, semi-capped. But it would apply just as if you're going to 3 or 4. I'm focusing on just getting it into 2, but you'll see how you get it in 3 or 4 by pulling the trigger 1 extra time. So we're going to get it into semi-capped. And what we want to do is tell it, hey, I want to change this level, which is the presets, into a different one, which is hold it, let it go off, and tell it I want it to go into 1, 2, preset 2, and say, hey, I'm done doing that. It's going to do 3 green blinks to say it's accepted the value. And then how do we check? Well, remember, we got 1 blink before, 1, 2. Because now we are in semi-capped, which we changed from semi-uncapped. And I'll do it again just to show you, and we're going to get it into preset 3. So we tell it we want to change this, hold it, 1, 2, 3, want to accept it, it did accept it, and we checked that it accepted it. It's going to blink 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So now we want to get it back into capped semi, which is preset number 2, semi capped at 15. So we hold for a second. 1, 2, that's the preset I want. Gone, I'm done telling you what preset I want. Let me know if you accept it. You accept it, and we always double check. 1, 2, preset 2. So now we are in preset 2. So now once you get into preset 2, which is the top level category, now you can start looking at all these subcategories, these 4 subcategories. Don't start looking at them and pulling the trigger or anything before you get the preset you want. So step number 1, select the preset just how I showed you. And then once you get into the preset, and my camera won't focus here, but once you get into the preset, then you can start changing the values. How you do it to get down into a sub level, since we're at the preset level, to get into a sub level on capped semi is pull the trigger once, and it will get you down into green. If you pull it again, it will go into blue subcategory. If you go again, it will go into the purple subcategory, light blue, and then if you do it again, it'll go back up to the preset. So now if you hold this, it will change the preset stuff. We don't want to do that. We're in preset 2, which is what we want, which is capped semi, but we're at a maximum rate of fire with BS on at 15. Because it says semi 15. Again, you'll be able to view it in your manual. So we want to get that. We want to get to that. And then how do we change this subcategory? This subcategory here, we change this subcategory the same way that we changed the higher level preset category. So I want to tell the gun, hey, I want to change this rate of fire subcategory under preset 2 to 5.5. So we hold it till the light goes off and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 full rounds. And then I want the decimals to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the halves. And you'll see right there, it accepted it. And how do we check? Just like we check what preset we're in, we do a quick press there, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, the longer dashes are your full, the shorter dashes are your decibels. So 5.5. If we want to change it to 7.1, again, just how you would change the presets, but you're in this subcategory, so your presets locked in, and this is the only one you're changing, is the semi-capped. And what are we changing in the semi-capped? We're changing the maximum rate of fire with BS on, because we're at green, maximum rate of fire with BS on, that subcategory. And we are going to say, I want to change this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And when I go decimals, we're going to do 2. 7.2 shots per second cap. See if it accepts that value. It did. How do we check that it accepted the appropriate value? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Too short. So now we are at capped semi 7.2, but we actually wanted at 5.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's going to tell us they accept that value. So again, we're under preset 2, which is a higher, and then we're into the subcategory of maximum rate of fire with BS on, and we just set it to 5.5. We're going to check it. And we got it. So that's actually all there is to it. So all you would need to do now is get out of programming mode by holding it. It's going to show blue for a second. And now you'll see the yellow, which means there's no paint in there, obviously. If I put my finger down in there, the eyes will say that there's a paintball, but actually my finger in there, and it will start detecting. And so now this marker is in cap semi 5.5. So we're going to turn it off. And I'm going to show you that when we turn it back on, it will have set us back up into capped semi 5.5. So we're going to go back and we're going to essentially start it back up in a program because we want to see if the gun's off. We want to see if it remembered it from last time, what it's going to start us in. So again, how do we check if we're in cap semi? It's preset 2, so we want to check 1, 2. And then we want to go into the subcategory. Then we start pressing the trigger. Subcategory, that's the one we want. Maximum rate of fire with BS on. And then we check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so we're in cap semi, and we're at 5.5. And so all we need to do is get back to shooting the gun. If obviously you always do this with the air off, no air, and stuff like that, but no barrel, no paint. But now we are in, essentially this gun is ready to shoot in capped semi 5.5. You're ready to go. So again, put that in there. Perfect. You're ready to roll. One thing I do want to point out with this is this applies to any of the subcategories. So just how we changed the green, once you get into the preset you want, just how we changed the green, you would change the blue, the maximum rate of fire with the BS off. So it's all the same. Purple and light blue, probably don't go change. I would say don't go changing those. You do what you want. It's your gun. But everywhere it says don't go changing those. The factory knows what they're doing. But the maximum rate of fire generally will have to be changed by what game you're playing in or what the field rules are. So hopefully that shows you how to view this manual a little bit different and how to go from semi uncapped, which was preset 1, and then we switched it to semi-capped, but it was capped at 15, so then we went into the subcategory and we capped it at 5.5. So hopefully that gives you a little more full explanation on how to do that, more step-by-step. A lot of the other videos, to me, were just kind of left out a couple parts, or they just weren't reiterating the point very well, and this, again, didn't help me out very much. So you're good to go at this point with your capped semi 5.5. If I put air, a barrel, and paint on there, this would cap me out at 5.5. And again, you might have to mess with the tournament lock. Your field might make you do that so you don't change that programming in the middle of the game. And a couple other quick things before you go. That's the end of the video for changing it to cap semi 5.5. But a couple other flashing light things you might want to know. In order to check the battery, super quick on the Etha 2, just press that once and it tells me that it's green. It'll either say green, yellow, or red. Again, press it once and that's telling the battery is green. If it says yellow, you obviously are at caution. You might want to change it pretty quickly. If it's a red, that's bad. The gun may not even operate correctly. So again, battery check, quick press. If you ever do that accidentally, it shows green for a second. You're like, what did I just do? You just check the battery, okay? And now another thing that you might do, if you hold it for a little bit longer, you see how it just came like this purpley-ish, pinkish kind of color right there? What just happened there is you turned the eyes off. So now you see that there's no change there. That means it's not using the eyes here to detect if a ball's in there. You're more likely to chop paint. It's essentially akin to a mechanical marker at that point, as far as if it's checking to see if paint's in there, because it's not. So you're more likely to chop like that. So if you see this flashing purple and you're like, oh my gosh, what did I do? You hold that for a little bit, and then it's going to go back to the checking with the eyes on if there's paint in there to be able to shoot without chopping it. So that's the entire video that I got here, those 2 extra tips at the end, but hopefully that showed you how to get into capped semi 5.5, and also just a little trick on the battery, checking what that's at, and then the eyes, whether they're on or off with the blinking light mat. Hopefully this helps. If you need anything else, maybe leave a comment if I could try to help you. I don't really, I've only had this gun, like I said, 1,200 rounds, so I'm not really well versed in it, but if I can't help, I will, but hopefully this helps at least one person.